Good morning. Welcome back to Monday Tips with Lillian Cauldwell on Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Global Media Network LLC. Educate, enlighten, entertain, mindfulness. And on today's episode of Monday Tips, we are going to discuss an article from the AARP written by Sharon Jayson, Jayson. It was published first in October 2022 and then updated May 15th, 2025. And Ms. Jayson starts her article with the question, statement, solo agers facing the future need a network of friends. With no close relatives to depend on, older Americans look to their community for caregiving support. She starts out the article with Stacy Davenport, who said she began to worry about her future just before she turned 60. Quote, talk to a friend why I was anxious about 60. If I get sick, I have no one to take care of me. Then the very next year in 2018, 2 minor strokes woke me up, and I thought, I'm running out of time. Davenport is a life coach in Austin, Texas. She has no husband or ex, has no children, and is among the 33% of U.S. women aged 65 and older who live alone. Among men of that same age group, almost 22% do so, according to a census data released last year. Often called, quote, solo agers, unquote. They may be widowed, divorced, or never married. She is now 68, and Davenport says those health scares forced her to act rather than just think about what was ahead. She named a niece in Florida as her executor, and a beneficiary granted her medical power of attorney and added the niece to her bank account. Davenport says she's already planned for cremation when her time comes, so my niece won't have to worry about that. My friends have families, she went on. They've got a spouse. Most of them live in Austin and nearby communities. Although they can drive her to the grocery store or doctor's appointments, following her stroke, she's aware of the pitfalls associated with relying on her friends who have other obligations, had another stroke or any other obligations. However, more solo adults need support, yet solo agers are a growing group, with more never married, unpartnered, and childless adults in the population. And because adults with children may effectively be solo if their adult children live far away, or they have a child with a disability who can't care for them, or they are estranged, more aging adults are looking elsewhere for support. Preparing for life's later stages means tackling issues such as finances and estate planning, health care, and future housing needs, as well as anticipating your health declining and creating end-of-life directives. Experts in aging recommend that solo agers who weather the pandemic isolation consider expanding their social circles and making younger friends to allay fears about their faith. This country's increasingly diverse population also impacts solo aging. Members of the LGBTQ community have a higher frequency of being solo agers and not having children, said geriatrician Lillian Cauldwell, who is an assistant professor of medicine at the University of California, San Francisco. He says that the prevalence of solo agers appears to be less among Hispanic, Black, and Asian communities. They have and traditionally relied more on extended family. Some of the non-white communities are more likely to live in these extended family households. It's just a little bit less frequent for solo aging. A report from the National Alliance for Caregiving released in November says differ, with the highest prevalence of caregiving among Black and Americans at more than 28%, followed by Hispanics at nearly 22%. Prevalence among non-Hispanics, whites, and Asians is just under 20%. Research co-authored by William Chapek, a social personality psychologist at Michigan State University, that was published in 2021 in the journal Frontiers in Psychology, also found friendship benefits. Quote, when older adults place less national group, encourage groups of neighbors in a designated area to bond together and care for each other so that all can successfully age in their communities. But they also offer educational programs and social events, transportation to medical appointments, vetted services providers, and other support systems for members. Currently, 285 villages are operating with another 50 in development. A lot of people think children who are not in the picture, says Barbara Sullivan, executive director. A lot of the choices are building your caregiving team. Who is going to be the person to be responsible? Sullivan says solo aging will be highlighted at our organization's virtual conference in September. This is part of growing older, she says. Patricia Wood, 69, of San Diego, has been divorced more than 30 years. She's thought about a future because her 38-year-old daughter, Kimberly, was diagnosed as a child with neurodegeneration with brain iron accumulation, MBIA, a group of neurological disorders that has left her 100% dependent without the ability to speak or move voluntarily. Wood is founder of the NBIA Disorders Associations, which she started in 1996. She stepped down as president in 2023 and is now a research program director. She's planned for her daughter's future by creating a special needs trust fund for Kimberly's care. Wood says she also discussed it with her daughter's father, who might be able to care for Kimberly should Wood become unable to do so. Wood has been the primary caregiver, a role shared with her ex-husband. However, a few years ago, she and 6 close friends who lived in the San Diego area made a little pact that we would be here for each other and be some backup care for each. Of the 7 of us, only 1 is married, and the rest are single, Wood says, explaining that 1 has an adult children an hour away. 3 never married and are childless, and the other 2 are divorced, with children living outside of California. Although Woods has a close-knit support group, many solo agers don't. We have a growing population of older adults, and with more over 75, more are going to be lonely, Hockley said. For solo agers without these family bonds, finding help is piecemeal, says attorney C. Grace Whiting, a former CEO of the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. There is no unified national system